Hi, and welcome to Animalia the Podcast. I'm Natasha, and thank you so much for tuning in. I have a treat for you on this episode, which is going to be a little different to what has come before. So, remember in the last episode how I bemoaned the fact that I couldn't find a man to be interviewed? Well, thankfully, I had to look no further than the tip of my nose, literally, because you will hear this week from my husband. Yes. I know I'm cutting corners here a bit, and you might be thinking, this is too easy. But what's a girl to do when she wants some bass in the mix? Not reach for the most available XY chromosome? We will discuss this episode his early experience with dogs particularly, which wasn't all that positive. And we talk about our life with cats. He shares some very candid thoughts on his relationship with our cats over the years and why he has become wary of getting too attached. He also gives some suggestions as to how animal welfare might be taken more seriously in Trinidad and Tobago. He's a former soldier, an entertainer, a fitness buff, a recovering addict, a father of one human, grandfather of another human, and cat daddy to 3 fur babies, Coco, Pierre, and Terry. And he's also the inspiration behind the radio talk show we co-host. Insert shameless plug for Eye on Dependency, Sundays on I-95.5 FM and live on our Facebook page. Please welcome to Animalia, my husband, my honey buns, Garth St Clair. So I am here with Mr. Garth St Clair, who is my husband. He's my co-host and co-producer on Eye on Dependency, and he is also almost, I don't want to say not an animal lover, but I'll let him explain that for himself. Welcome to Animalia, Mr. Garth.
Thank you for having me, Miss Natasha.
Well, let's start by talking a little bit about your history with animals. How did you grow up around animals, and if not, why you think so?
We had a dog when I was growing up. I'll never forget a dog name. His name was Bullet. And just as the name implies, he was very fast. And
a potom?
Yes.
Caribbean Terrier.
That's right. Yes. There's a politically correct term for it.
Do you remember how you got him?
I think he just walked in the yard one day. Because back then, we had a lot of stray dogs around the area. And Bullet came home and never left. He was a puppy and he grew up with us and we became close. But it was not a dog that, we would do the vet thing with and we
have him inside.
And that was unheard of back in those days. Buy dog chow and all these things.
So what used to eat?
Bullet ate what we did.
Okay. So
as soon as we were finished eat, we compiled everything and carried downstairs for Bullet. And Bullet was very happy to get that. And I think that is what had him strong, to tell you the truth, because he never made a fuss, and he was a good watchdog and everything, but that was it, really. When I left to join the military, then having a pet was totally out of the question. Because having lint on your clothes was like a federal offense. So to go to work with pet hair on my clothes, I was just asking for trouble. So I never had any pets after joining the military, and it continued like that until I met you.
Alright, let's go back a bit. I remember you telling me a story about you being bitten by a dog.
Dogs?
Dogs. Well, more than one dog. Describe for us how that happened and what impression did that leave with you?
Yeah, that scarred me for life. Even to this day, when I have to pass close to a dog, I have to try to remain calm. Because having dealt with the war dogs in the military, one of the things the guys always told us that dogs sense when you're afraid, and they sometimes take advantage of that. But the late 60s, early 70s, communities back then were very close-knit. people hardly had fence around houses, and dogs were free to roam, go in and out as they could. It's not unusual to see a street filled with dog mess from one end to the next. But there were some neighbors who they never secured their dogs. So when my mother sent me any part of Cookie, I would always come back home with dog bites. My mother used to at least visit the hospital twice. A few times a month with me getting dog bite. No matter what part of Cookie I went, 2 dogs always decided to give me a welcome. And it was not something I enjoyed. As a matter of fact, it scarred me to the point where anytime she asked me to go somewhere, I would cry. Because, with already bandaged up, and then she wanted me to go drop something for some friend across the next side of Cookie, and it was not a nice experience. So I never liked dogs because of that. I just saw all dogs as the same. So I never fell in love with dogs, and those who had dogs, anytime I go by them, I always had to be stepping over dog mess, and I kind of squeamish kind of person, so that used to freak me out too. So
I remember a story you told me about that too.
Yeah.
About a lump of excrement on a step.
Yeah. That I mean, I even lost relationship because of that. Because, she invited me home, and going up the second step, and there was a load of dog mess partially dried. And I felt that was disgusting, I mean, if it was a fresh lump, I didn't mind, but it was partially dried. And I'm saying, how anybody can even do that? And have children around the yard, and that was the last time she saw me.
Right.
So, dog and dog mess was really never my favorite thing to put up with. So as a result of that, I never fell in love with animals because of that. And then, as I said, joining the military made it even worse. My clothes had to be always clean, and having pets, as I'm experiencing now, that is totally impossible. You have to prepare for the unexpected.
Indeed. So you met me, and I grew up with animals from birth. We always had dogs at home. When I was with my father for the first 10 or 11 years of my life, we always had dogs. And then when I went to live with my mom, we had a dog or two occasionally. And I first became acquainted with cats in my adulthood. But when we started living together and I decided to adopt a cat, tell the audience, what was your initial reaction to me bringing home a kitten who would be named Missy?
That took some getting used to, because now I had to deal with cats I find very disrespectful. They're cute. They're cute to look at when they're sleeping. Sometimes they just don't sit still, and cats will jump and knock stuff over and just get out of it and don't care what they break, and they just feel to sleep anywhere they want. You buy them a bed for them, they'll jump on the couch and sleep, or and it just I was just preparing myself now to change my whole life because of having this kitten. And then, you had a propensity to just pick up kitten by the side of the road and just bring it home. And
not that happened once.
I just couldn't understand.
No, but Missy was a special cat. I mean, he's the one who really stayed with us the longest. He lived the longest. He lived to about 15. But is there any way that you think his being in our lives has changed your perspective on pets, on cats?
Well, not having children, now I realize like a cat is just like a child. And as I said, they would go outside when you do expect them to. And to get them to come back in is like hell. And then trying to clean up the place, that was another stress, because I have a routine every Saturday morning. I would clean my apartment, and here it is now I have to deal with this cat running in and out while I'm mopping. And I think we still have a picture of that. I had the chain, put a chain around Missy and put a block of wood on the chain and leave him on the bed. And Missy was looking at me like, what did I do?
Doing this to me?
Yeah, but I can't. It's really uncomfortable or, stressful trying to mop a place, and you have a cat running in and out, and they don't listen. They know how you train cats. At least dogs listen. You could train a dog and tell them, well, sit outside. Cats don't listen. So,
we didn't have a carrier at that point, so
we didn't have a carrier.
That was the question.
Yeah, so I had no other choice but to chain Missy as a kitten.
Oh Lord.
And but eventually, sometimes I come home not in a good mood, and Missy would do something to make me smile, and after a while, I just decided, look, it's either I live with it or leave both of you all. So I decided to adapt, and it turned out that Missy turned out to be a really special kind of cat.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly thought, well, it would have stopped there, but no, it didn't.
No, it didn't.
And having to readjust to other cats coming in the house now, that was another level of testing tolerance and questioning what I do with this person if they don't understand. I just don't like cats. I don't like dogs. I don't like animals in the house. But I guess, the saying, happy wife, happy life. So yeah. I decided to readjust, but that's not all.
So when I brought home Toro, Toro is a rescue that I found in the stadium. I've told this story on the podcast before, but Toro was the second addition to the household, and there was something special that happened when he came.
That was indeed special, and I do seem that we'll ever experience that again.
No.
But one thing I understand about cats, they're very territorial. And once another cat comes on the scene, there's be a lot of hissing and snarling and, clouting. But when you brought Toro home, and of course Toro needed some special care,
mm-hmm.
and I couldn't believe that, you go into a meeting in the stadium, and this cat just meow, and you decide to bring this cat home, this kitten home, and
he chose me.
But it turns out that Toro and Missy hit it off immediately. And we have a couple of videos of them playing hide and seek, and that was nice to see. At least there wasn't any, cat fights in the house because of that. And that kind of relaxed me a bit because, they took to each other and they became buddies. Literally, because Missy started looking out for Toro, and they started lining together. You could see them sitting and looking out the road together. And I remember one night, a cat tackled Toro, and Missy came to the rescue. Missy actually, pepper potted the cat, and next thing you know, the Toro started to back off, and Missy took over. And I remember that episode pretty well. And Missy and I actually became close. Although Toro was more of the lap cat, but Missy and I had this kind of ambivalence, this kind of love-hate relationship. But it's so much so that when Missy passed away, I found her the morning. Well, him. Yes, I found him. Well, we thought Missy was a girl at first, and then that's why the name.
That's another story.
Yes, that's another story. And but so when I got up the morning and I didn't see Missy and I went outside, I couldn't believe I broke down. I actually broke down and cried when Missy died, and I'm saying, but this is not good, But yeah, Missy and I, became close. So when Missy died, it broke my heart. I remember having to do a lecture that morning at Holy Name Convent, and I was explaining to the students what happened that morning, and I almost broke down again in front of them. So I never thought, a pet dying that would have had that effect on me. But yeah, I think I started feeling a little nostalgic, or maybe I should have gotten closer to Missy or understand Missy a little more, because he was very greedy.
When we lost Missy, obviously that was a big loss for our family.